When Gordon Ramsay called 911 in Hell's Kitchen, it wasn't for drama, it was pure reality. In a kitchen built on pressure, heat, and relentless pace, the moment shocked everyone. Service stopped, voices dropped, and urgency replaced insults. Ramsay is known for shouting, but this was different. Safety came before perfection. The call reminded viewers that behind the entertainment are real people working at extreme limits. Hell's Kitchen thrives on intensity, yet that night proved there is a line no chef crosses. When it comes to lives, even the toughest kitchens go silent and act fast without hesitation or debate. Before you think Hell's Kitchen is only about shouting and broken plates, there's one moment that stopped everything cold. Gordon Ramsay, famous for his rage and razor-sharp standards, picked up the phone and called 911. In this video, you'll learn what led to that shocking decision, what really happened behind the chaos of service, and why this incident revealed a side of Ramsay most viewers never noticed. We'll break down the pressure, the risk, and the hidden reality of the kitchen in that moment. Stay till the end to uncover why this call changed everything. Welcome. Before we talk about the emergency that shocked everyone, it's important to understand the world it happened in. Hell's Kitchen is not just a cooking show. It's a pressure chamber designed to test limits. The kitchen runs on strict timing, constant movement, and zero room for hesitation. Orders fly in fast, temperatures rise instantly, and every second counts. One mistake doesn't stay small. It delays service, fuels tension, and puts the entire team under the spotlight. This environment is built to overwhelm, because only under extreme pressure do true leaders and weak links reveal themselves. Before we talk about Gordon Ramsay's reaction in that moment, we have to look at the reputation he carries into the room. Ramsay is known worldwide for his explosive temper, sharp insults, and unforgiving standards. In Hell's Kitchen, he demands perfection not because it looks good on television, but because professional kitchens leave no space for error. A single misstep can ruin a service, damage a restaurant's reputation, or worse, put people at risk. His intensity is a reflection of the real culinary world, amplified for an environment where cameras never stop rolling. Before we talk about why his behavior seems extreme, it's worth recognizing how the pressure affects everyone inside that kitchen. Contestants aren't just cooking, they're performing under judgment, noise, heat, and fear of elimination. Ramsay's strict approach forces chefs to think fast, communicate clearly, and handle stress without breaking. His shouting isn't random chaos, it's controlled pressure meant to simulate real-life stakes. In Hell's Kitchen, intensity isn't a personality trait, it's part of the system that keeps everything moving forward. Before we talk about the call itself, we need to focus on the moment everything shifted. Hell's Kitchen thrives on noise, orders being shouted, pans clashing, timers ringing, and Ramsay's voice cutting through it all. That constant chaos is the heartbeat of service. Then, without warning, something felt wrong. It wasn't a burnt dish or a missed garnish. It was an unexpected emergency, beginning quietly, almost invisibly. The kind that doesn't announce itself until it demands attention. Before we talk about how serious it became, it's important to understand how rare silence is in that kitchen. The moment the issue surfaced, the energy changed instantly. Conversations stopped mid-sentence, movement slowed. The familiar rhythm collapsed into a heavy pause. Chefs who were trained to keep cooking under any circumstance froze, unsure of what to do next. The cameras kept rolling, but the tension felt different, raw, uncomfortable, and real. This wasn't part of the competition anymore. Before we talk about the full response, we have to acknowledge how quickly service unraveled. Plates that were seconds away from leaving the past stayed where they were. Flames were turned down. Hands that usually moved with muscle memory hesitated. Ramsay, known for pushing through mistakes, recognized that this wasn't something that could be shouted away. The kitchen, designed to operate under maximum pressure, suddenly had to stop functioning entirely. Before we talk about the weight of that decision, it matters to recognize what stopping service actually means. In Hell's Kitchen, halting service is almost unthinkable. The show is built on endurance, resilience, and pushing forward no matter how bad things get. Stopping service affects diners, production schedules, and the competition itself. Yet in that moment, all of it became irrelevant. The priority shifted from performance to safety, from winning to responsibility. Before we talk about what came next, the silence deserves its own attention. It wasn't calm silence. It was tense, uncertain, and heavy with fear. Chefs stood still, listening, watching, waiting for instructions. The absence of shouting felt louder than any insult Ramsay had ever delivered. That quiet exposed how fragile the system really is when something goes wrong beyond the script. Before we talk about the aftermath, it's important to sit in that paused moment. The kitchen that never stops had stopped. The competition that rewards toughness had reached a limit. In that silence, the reality of working under extreme pressure became impossible to ignore. And the show briefly revealed something deeper than entertainment: how quickly control can vanish when an emergency takes over. Before we talk about Gordon Ramsay's reputation for anger, this moment showed something completely different. The shouting stopped, the insults disappeared, and his tone changed instantly. There was no performance, no exaggerated reaction for the cameras. What replaced his usual intensity was focus. His face, his posture, even his voice reflected seriousness rather than rage. In a kitchen where emotions usually explode outward, Ramsay pulled everything inward, concentrating on the situation instead of the spectacle. Before we talk about why this reaction mattered, it's important to understand how unusual it was. Ramsay is known for pushing chefs past their comfort zones, sometimes to the breaking point. Yet when safety entered the picture, that pressure vanished. He didn't demand speed or perfection, he demanded awareness. Instructions became calm, direct, and deliberate. Every decision he made pointed toward control rather than dominance, showing that leadership isn't always loud. Before we talk about the emergency response itself, we have to recognize how quickly priorities shifted. Food, service, and competition were no longer important. What mattered was making sure no one was in danger. Ramsay didn't hesitate or debate. He acted. That instinct revealed years of real kitchen experience, where accidents aren't theoretical and hesitation can make things worse. His seriousness wasn't emotional, it was professional. Before we talk about what viewers took away from that moment, it's worth noting how rare this side of Ramsay is on television. Reality shows often highlight conflict, but this situation stripped that away. The focus on safety reminded everyone that behind the entertainment, kitchens or workplaces with real risks, Ramsay's response wasn't about control or ego. It was about responsibility, and the understanding that no dish, no service, and no show is more important than human safety. Before we talk about reality television as entertainment, it's important to recognize how carefully crafted most of it really is. Shows like Hell's Kitchen are edited to heighten drama, amplify conflict, and keep viewers emotionally invested. Shouting matches, rivalries, and breakdowns are selected because they're compelling to watch. The structure creates the illusion that chaos is constant and controllable, that every outburst fits neatly into a narrative designed for ratings. What viewers often forget is that behind the edits, the kitchen is still a real working environment with real consequences. Before we talk about why moments like this feel so different, we have to separate performance from reality. In real life, pressure doesn't pause for dramatic timing. Emergencies don't wait for commercial breaks or story arcs. When something goes wrong in a professional kitchen, there is no script to follow. The sudden shift from entertainment to seriousness exposes how thin the line really is between a televised competition and an actual workplace. That contrast is what makes these rare moments so unsettling. Before we talk about human limits, it's worth understanding how pressure builds over time. Contestants in Hell's Kitchen aren't facing stress for a few minutes. They endure it for hours, days, and weeks. Long shifts, lack of sleep, constant judgment, and the fear of public failure slowly wear people down. Even highly trained chefs have breaking points. The body and mind can only absorb so much heat, noise, and expectation before something gives. Before we talk about resilience, we need to acknowledge vulnerability. Reality TV often rewards toughness, showing emotional collapse as weakness, but real life doesn't work that way. Stress manifests physically and mentally, sometimes without warning. Under extreme pressure, reactions slow, focus narrows, and mistakes become more dangerous. That emergency moment wasn't just a shock. It was a reminder that human limits exist, no matter how strong someone appears on screen. Before we talk about what viewers take away from these situations, it's important to consider why they linger in memory. These moments break the illusion. They reveal that beneath the editing, the music and the confrontations are real people operating at the edge of their capacity. The tension feels different because it isn't manufactured. It's rooted in risk, responsibility, and the understanding that some lines can't be crossed, even in the most intense reality shows. Before we talk about why this moment stayed with viewers, it's important to understand the initial shock it created. Audiences tune into Hell's Kitchen expecting chaos, shouting, and humiliation served alongside the food. The intensity is familiar, almost routine. So when everything suddenly stopped, it felt unsettling. The shock didn't come from an explosion of anger, but from its absence. Seeing a kitchen built on noise fall silent forced viewers to pay attention in a different way. One that wasn't driven by entertainment but by concern. Before we talk about respect, we need to look at how quickly perceptions shifted. Gordon Ramsay is often framed as a tyrant, a figure who thrives on pressure and conflict. In this moment, that image cracked. Viewers watched him strip away the theatrics and take control with calm authority. There was no need to dominate or intimidate. His actions spoke louder than his reputation. That contrast earned respect, not because he was softer, but because he was decisive and responsible when it mattered most. Before we talk about realism, it's worth recognizing how rare genuine moments are in reality television. Most of what audiences see has been shaped, edited, and enhanced. This incident felt different because it didn't follow the usual formula. There was no build-up music, no exaggerated reactions, no clear villain, just uncertainty and restraint. That rawness made the situation feel authentic, reminding viewers that even heavily produced shows can't fully control real life. Before we talk about Ramsay's different side, we have to acknowledge how leadership is often misunderstood. On television, leadership is portrayed as dominance, volume, and control through fear. This moment revealed a quieter form. Ramsay demonstrated awareness, accountability, and emotional intelligence. He didn't need to raise his voice to command attention. His seriousness naturally drew it. That side of him felt grounded, experienced, and human. Before we talk about why this changed how people see him, it's important to note how lasting the impact was. Many viewers remembered this moment not for the drama, but for the restraint. It challenged the idea that Ramsay's intensity defines him completely. Instead, it showed depth. The shock created curiosity, the respect created admiration, and the realism created trust. For a brief time, Hell's Kitchen wasn't just a show, it was a reflection of real pressure, real responsibility, and a side of Gordon Ramsay that rarely makes it to the screen. In the end, this moment wasn't about chaos or competition. It was about pressure, responsibility, and true leadership. When everything stopped, it revealed what really matters in high-stakes environments. Leadership isn't measured by volume or fear, but by calm decisions when stakes are highest. If this story changed how you see Hell's Kitchen or Gordon Ramsay, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into moments that reveal the reality behind the screen. Stay with us, because the most powerful stories are often hidden in silence.